They whispered every morning when they saw her. "Look, there she is again, carrying that boy." A young mother, shoulders strained, arms trembling, yet refusing to let go. Rain or shine, wind or snow, she carried her son all the way to school. Parents glanced with pity, some with judgment, others with silence. They thought they knew her story, but none truly did. What no one expected, what no one could ever imagine, was that the man watching from the office window wasn't just a school principal. He was a CEO in disguise, and what he was about to do would change her life forever. If the story touched your heart, show your love, like, share, and comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Caroline Evans was 28, but her face carried the weight of someone much older. Life hadn't been kind to her. She had once been married, full of dreams of a little house with a white fence, but those dreams shattered the day her husband walked out, leaving her with a newborn son and debts that swallowed every penny. Her boy Ethan was now 7. Bright eyes, a smile that lit up the dullest corners, but legs that had never carried him farther than the hospital room he was born in. A spinal condition had left him unable to walk, and though doctors said therapy might help, Caroline couldn't afford it. Every morning before sunrise, Caroline would rise in their tiny apartment. She worked late shifts at a diner, often barely sleeping, but she refused to let Ethan miss a single day of school. She would lift him, set him gently on her hip or shoulders, and begin the long walk. The path wasn't easy. Cracked sidewalks, steep hills, and stairs that pierced her heart. Some people muttered, "Why doesn't she just get a wheelchair?" Others whispered, "Poor kid." But they didn't understand wheelchairs cost money, more than Caroline's entire month's earnings. And so she carried him, step by step, breath by breath, every morning. Inside the school, Ethan never complained. He would hug his mother's neck and whisper, "One day, Mama, I'll walk next to you." Those words were the fuel that kept her legs moving even when her body screamed to stop. What Caroline didn't know was that someone was watching her. The principal of Oakwood Elementary was a tall, quiet man named Richard Gray. At 45, he had stepped into this small-town school only 6 months ago. To the teachers, he was fair but reserved. To the parents, he was just another administrator doing his job. But in truth, Richard wasn't just a principal. He was the CEO of a national education foundation worth millions. He had chosen to work in disguise at Oakwood to understand the struggles of ordinary families, what students, teachers, and parents really faced, away from the polished reports his boardroom usually received. And from his office window he had noticed Caroline. Day after day, rain dripping from her hair, arms trembling but never giving up. It stirred something in him. One morning, as Caroline carried Ethan through the school doors, her knees gave out. She collapsed just inside the entrance. Ethan still clutched tightly to her chest. Teachers rushed over. Gasps filled the hallway. Ethan cried, "Mama! Mama! Are you okay?" Caroline tried to stand, her pride stronger than her pain. "I'm fine," she said breathlessly. But her face was pale, her hands shaking. Richard appeared suddenly, kneeling beside her. His hand rested gently on her shoulder. "You're not fine," he said firmly. "Let me help." Caroline shook her head, embarrassed. "I don't want charity." "It's not charity," Richard replied softly. "It's what you deserve, for everything you've been carrying." Their eyes met. For the first time, Caroline felt that someone truly saw her. Not just the struggling single mom, not just the woman people pitied, but a mother with strength beyond measure. That night, Richard couldn't sleep. He kept replaying the sight of Caroline collapsing. He knew he had to do something, but how could he reveal who he really was without breaking the trust he was trying to build? The very next morning, Caroline woke to find something outside her apartment door. A brand new wheelchair, custom-sized for Ethan, with a note attached. "Every hero deserves help. RG." Tears blurred her vision. She knew instantly who it was. At school, She marched straight to the principal's office, Ethan rolling beside her in the chair. "Why?" she asked, her voice breaking. "Why would you do this for us?" Richard smiled, his eyes kind but steady. "Because strength like yours deserves to be seen. Because a boy like Ethan deserves every chance to shine. And because sometimes, Caroline, the world forgets to help the ones who carry the heaviest loads." It was then that he revealed the truth. He wasn't just the principal. He was the CEO of a foundation dedicated to helping families like hers. And he wanted Ethan to be the face of a new program that would provide therapy, education, and opportunities to children with disabilities across the country. Caroline's knees went weak. She clutched her son, sobbing. "All these years, I thought I was alone." Richard shook his head. "You were never alone. You just hadn't been seen yet." Months later, Ethan took his first steps with the help of therapy and support Richard's foundation provided. At the school's annual assembly, Ethan walked across the stage, one hand clutching his mother's. The entire auditorium erupted in applause, tears streaming down faces. And in that moment, Caroline realized something. Sometimes the hardest journeys we carry on our backs lead us to people who will finally help us stand. Life is not just about what we carry. It's about who notices, who reaches out, and who chooses to walk beside us when the weight becomes too heavy. Caroline carried her son out of love. Richard carried his secret out of purpose. And together, they proved that kindness has the power to change not just one life, but many. So the next time you see someone struggling, remember, you might be the person who helps them rise again.